Okay, hello everybody. This is probably the last stream about the House of Ashur. The TV show is over, but this is the main important stream about this TV show because we are going to not only rank every character, but we are going to discuss in general how the season basically was, how it basically ended, and our expectations for future seasons, because future seasons basically written in advance, and as of today basically it has already 5 or 6 seasons written in advance. As far as I know, basically there is no green light currently, but maybe we will see some updates about this TV show, and if it's getting green light, of course it's gonna be perfect, because I think there is no TV show that makes me basically keep watching like this. I'm fully engaged. And the Spartacus is the House of Ashur is the only recent TV show that made me basically fully forget about other stuff. I found myself really not caring about anything else currently. Tell Me Lies, maybe only TV show that keeping me engaged as well, but apart of that, basically I think there is no actually good TV show recently that really just good in every aspect, visual, narrative. Spartacus, the House of Ashur, it has everything. For me personally, it has all that. And what do you think about this Spartacus, the House of Ashur season 1? Because, for example, I tried to watch something similar, like the Pendragon, the Rise of Merlin, something like that, and it didn't really catch me. Even though the vibe similar, the post-Roman Empire or something like this, but something is really missing. It cannot just hold me, and I found it weird that basically my last stream, when we were talking about Pendragon in the poll, Pendragon and the House of Ashur, the House of Ashur basically got 0 votes, but Pendragon basically was favored. And then I tried to watch it. I tried genuinely just watch every episode, but I couldn't finish. So I realized basically Spartacus, the House of Ashur is the only recent TV show that made me actually immerse fully, just complete the whole season, and basically every episode is just a separate journey, as just separate story, as something revealing every time something that I would never expect. And this feeling, when you see a new episode dropped, you already know basically there's gonna be something jaw-dropping, oh my god, something is gonna happen. Maybe somebody is gonna be killed, or maybe it's like something is gonna be happened, and you don't know what to expect. Every episode they do something unexpected. This is why I like this TV show. You know that basically all the fights in the arena, do you know, guys, that basically the TV show has been written already in advance, like 6 or something seasons, and if it's getting greenlit, it's gonna be like 5-6 seasons. If every season is gonna be successful, it's gonna be long story, like for years. But if they keep basically doing same quality, because all the fights, all the scenes in the arena specifically is just so high quality production, all those like slow motion scenes, all those fights, all those gladiators, how they basically made it, vibe is just so perfect. So every time I just know there is something surprising me, like every time it's something I really don't expect. So this is why we love this TV show, I think. And no other TV show, like even Tell Me Lies season 3, can really surprise me like this Spartacus, the House of Ashur. Because basically when you already know, like, there is a lot of repetitive stuff, like students, all that, you have seen that multiple times, right? It cannot really surprise you as much as this type of TV show, because it has specific period, that Roman Empire, right? And a lot of history intertwined with fiction, and you can learn actually a lot. Even language, that language that they're using in this TV show, it's already a lot to learn, because I found myself basically more confident in my current English, because I was thinking basically sometimes I use like weird wording, like I'm choosing weird ways to just say something, but after watching this TV show, I realized basically that they have such unique English, such like unique style, and some wording, some basically usage of words made me realize that basically I want to sound sometimes like them. I want to sound sometimes maybe more strange, but this unique style, this like something unique in this English they speak, it makes me love this TV show even more, because it's generally just making like those vibes even more, I don't know, unforgettable, really. So we are going to rate characters, but first of all, I'm going to watch the official rating, and I found something really interesting, because basically the official rating is something that is perfectly aligned with my own rating. And today we start with rating only low rank characters, like female characters. It includes basically slaves, gladiators. We have only one gladiator woman fighting like consistently, and it's Achilea, of course. And I was really surprised, but not like completely, but she was rated. Let me show you something. Here we go. So Achilea, basically this is global rating. We start with this global rating because it's based on critic reviews and audience reception. So basically this is like the most objective, non-biased rating, but it can be not so accurate because basically the data for December 2025, it's not like updated, but still. So Achilea basically holding first place with 5 stars. So she is widely considered the standout of the series. Critics praise her amazingly fierce performance and the refreshing introduction of a female fighter who must earn her way from nothing. Basically, when I was rating her, I thought the same thing. So if I do this my way, I would put her first place as well, just because she has such good storyline, she has such good development throughout the season. She is growing, she is showing the exact thing that I was looking for when we talking about character like this, who is just, you know, starting from the bottom of the hierarchy. So my own rating is not 1 star, bro, but 5 stars. We need this. So if I vote like from 1 to 5 stars, I would basically give Achilea 5. And now we're only talking about like this for women, right? Because we only have 4 women low rank female characters: slaves, servants, gladiators, and basically Illara, she is not like completely servant, she's not gladiator, she's like selling her services but in completely different area, let's say, but still she is low rank woman. Maybe she is the lowest rank if we're talking about positions they hold in this TV show. So I think after Achilea I would give Messia or Hilara 4 stars, like second place, you know, just because I think both of them basically delivered characters perfectly, but global ranking basically giving Hilara 4 stars, and they are reasoning this because of her compassionate soul, deeply in love with Ashur. She is a compassionate soul, deeply in love with Ashur. She genuinely cares for him. Her position makes her vulnerable to his exploitation. She is rated highly for providing the series' rare emotional groundness. I agree with that statement, but when I see basically Hilara and Messiah, I genuinely believe that basically Hilara, she is more driven by strategic loyalty, something that I mentioned next to her name. Strategic loyalty. This is something basically that Hilara uses in her relationship with Ashur. And even though this global rating mentioning that basically she deeply in love with him and she like genuinely cares for him, I believe she's not like completely genuine, and it can be seen during like this season. We can witness some weird decisions. And when we're talking about Messiah, she is more of that genuine connection, I would say, especially her trying to basically find that closeness with Hilara and how she got basically rejected by her, and later she is finding this new connection with Cornelia because her unrequited feelings is what making her that genuine character, because she is showing vulnerability, she is showing her again loyalty. But Messiah, she is not just loyal to Ashur or Cornelia, she is genuinely trying to be like more than just, you know, their servant or something like this. So I believe that Messiah, she holds every aspect of best character, from the acting of the actress to just the core of this character, like her appearance. There's nothing that stops me from giving her like second place after Achilea. She deserves, I think, 4 stars. So I would put 4 stars, like second place right there. This is my personal ranking. Just because she really deserves that. I don't know what you think, guys. You can just make your vote. You can show me your opinion by voting for your character. And you can see Messiah already, she got 2. And these 2 from viewers, it's not my votes. So after second place, we are going to rank third best female low rank character, servant or gladiator or any other low rank. So somebody who holds the lowest position, like at the bottom of the hierarchy, you know. We know a lot of character there at the bottom of the hierarchy, but we only have 4 options. And I only brought those who got basically more screen time. Ilata, when we're talking about her, she is definitely the most supportive character out of those 4, but something basically is so like, I don't know, confusing. Like they are breaking up with that guy Tarkon. They broke up like last episode, And he told her basically that, or he didn't tell that explicitly, but I basically read that he broke up with her because she makes him like soft, you know. So this is why softness is like what defines, I think, this character, Ilata. Softness, because she was so long kept by abusive man who basically was literally beating her. We have seen that multiple times, right? And I genuinely just think that this character, it has so much potential to be not just sidekick for Tarkon and just completely supportive character. She has such beauty. She has that vibe. I don't know how to explain you this, but every her appearance make this like another, like, you know, good scene. And basically I would rank her higher than Hilara only if she got more screen time, if she developed a little bit more. Of course, I cannot do that just because Hilara was just more of a main character, right? So what do you think, guys? If you have choice, who would you favor more? A personal assistant, favored slave, like Vilaka of House of Ashur, elevated house slave. This is prestigious position, even though it sounds weird that being a slave is like prestigious, but it's still like this. And on the other hand, we have a sex worker. During Roman Empire, sex workers, they were at the bottom of the hierarchy. I don't know how it's changed over time, but so we have different characters. One is like favored by her dominance, and another basically downplayed, and Ilata, she is basically downplayed and constantly let down by those abusive Romans. So I don't know whom I'm going to give 3 stars. It's like third place, you know. But I think my vote goes for Hilara just because she has more screen time and I understand her character better. She has developed, she has such good storyline. She was like loyal at some point. She realized something, but at the end of the season she's still loyal. But I think now she has more potential to be like Ashur's not just slave but real like partner. If there is season 2, she has definitely achieved more during this season. In Viridia, I think Viridia is gonna be so jealous. What do you think, guys, about Hilara? Nobody voted for her. What do you think about her potential in future? Do you think there is gonna be rivalry between Messia and Hilara? If, for example, Messia returns and with Cornelia, they are currently gone to Rome, but do you think they are gonna be back to retaliate on Caesar's death, because Ashur killed Caesar, we already know that. Do you think that potentially there is gonna be another rivalry between Hilara and Messia? Former friends, co-workers, let's say. Do you think they are gonna be enemies to each other? I think it's so likely to happen. So of course, in this like rank, Ilata basically she has two or just last place, but still she is holding like for me specifically, she is holding some unique vibe that I cannot really understand, but because she has so little screen time, I cannot tell you really what I think about her. Like visually, her appearances, they are like perfect, but when it comes to her development, I don't understand really what she is, you know. She's like a former sex worker, but she killed her abusive Roman, her Dominus, or whoever he was. She killed her, or at least she pushed him towards his death. So she freed herself from that captivity, but I don't really know if she's gonna be in next season, if there is gonna be next season, because her storyline seems to be unfinished or just stopped at this point, because Tarkon basically broke up with Ilata, and maybe she has nothing to tell anymore, since basically there is nobody, you know, to be with for Ilata. If it's not for Tarkon, it's for nobody. It's for nobody, literally. But I would like to see her in future seasons, of course. But in global rating, basically critics and global audience, they rated Ilata same as me. They rated her 2 stars. So let's give her these 2 stars. This is just my vote. This is just my opinion. You can make completely different. You can make it completely different. For example, your 2 votes for Messia, it's already making her first. It's already making her best character from low rank characters of Spartacus, the House of Ashur. It's including servants, gladiators, and others low rank female characters, only female characters, because there is a lot of other like low rank, like if we're talking about male characters, it's a lot, literally. So there is another thing about this rating. What if we try, for example, rate all those 4 not just by their storylines, their characters, like the way they written, how they deliver those characters, but what if we try like make only like visually based, like based on their appearances rating, like aesthetic, you know, of each character. I found this, like, again, global rating, and again, it's based on fan reception and community beauty ratings. So basically people on different platforms, different sites, they express their opinions. Like, for example, Messia, she is like beautiful, so aesthetic, she's like rated the highest. Literally, she's the most favored character. And I cannot disagree, really. And basically, if I give first place based just on visual of that character, on the appearance of that character, on the way that character looks, personally, because we are rating like beauty, right? We are rating something that is different for everybody, because what beauty for me maybe is not for you. Maybe I see things differently. So this is why basically we are all like different and unique. We all have different visions. We all have different opinions. So this is why I need your opinion. And it's better if you really just not only vote, but if you really just say something about your choice. What made you actually love that character? What do you think basically is the most interesting about that character? So, but if we're talking about the visual aspect, like appearance, the beauty, again, everything almost the same, but I think in reverse right now, because right now I would give basically first place to Ilada, just based on the way she looks. Again, we are rating their appearances. So Ilada, for me personally, holds first place. I'm giving basically Hilara second place. So you see how different this is from like global rating, like from global audience, from fans across the world who think basically that Messia deserves first place. But I think basically my personal opinion, so it's like this: 5 stars for Ilada, 4 stars for Hilara, 3 stars for Messia, and 2 stars for Aquilia, based on their appearances. I'm not saying that basically this is like I only can reason this because I have like my specific preferences maybe, and it can be biased, and it's just my opinion, you know. So But you can still vote based on both the core of the character and the appearance, like the beauty of the character. So keep in mind all those aspects: the visual aspect, the development of the character, and any other thing that you basically find appealing about this character. Okay. So right now we putting aside those stars because not to confuse others. So what can be next if we're talking about rating these characters? What if we try rate all of them, like literally each of them, but for you it's still four options in the poll, because there is no options available, only 4 maximum. This vote in the poll, it's about 4 characters with lowest passable rank, like servants, like gladiators. They are still considered property of Ashur, like for example Achilea. She is a champion, but she is still considered to be Ashur's property. It's kind of the same as slave, you know. So this is why she is there. This is why Ilata is there in that poll. And of course this is why Hilara and Messia there. But what if we try literally just make this for everybody? If we try to put if we try to rate every character. So I only brought 11 characters: Hilara, Viridia, Tarchon, Caesar, Achilea, Ilata, Cornelia, Messia. I don't remember this dude. His name, Ashur, of course. I don't remember this dude. But next to him, Doctora. Doctora is like Ashur's second hand or something like this, who is basically training his gladiators. So if we try to rate all those, it's kind of too much, right? Because you see this 11 characters, right? We cannot really just rate them because they are so like different in terms of how much screen time they got, how well written they are, because some characters, they are just completely sidekicks, supportive, and some characters, they are just everywhere, literally. Like for example, Cornelia, she was gone for some period, but then she reappeared and she took over this episode 10 again. She was like all over the top. in the final episode, she was literally everywhere. And Caesar, he was as well everywhere. So how we can divide them to make this rating like fair? I think we need to basically divide royalties and slaves, like low rank and high rank character. So for you, I made this poll with low rank female characters, so you can choose right now in the poll your favorite female low rank character. Servants, gladiators, other people. There is only 4 options, so you can see that in the poll in the chat. But I'm gonna make more options for myself just because I can't do that, but you can only have 4 options because it is what it is. For YouTube, there is no more. So it's actually hard to choose, but it's gonna be easier if we basically divide like royalties. Let's make it like this. So down below, all the gladiators, all the slaves, and up there all the like rulers, high rank people like Cornelia, Ashur, he is. Aquilia, she's down there. Caesar, of course, he is up there. And this dude, he is low rank. And Viridia, she is a noble woman, even though I basically found some information that people consider her like slave of your, let's say, father or something. She lost her agency. She was basically forced to marry that Pompey dude who was killed last episode. Or he was not killed, but he escaped. So you see that we only have 4 like high rank characters. It's Ashur, of course, a former slave though, Cornelia, Caesar, and Viridia. I'm not bringing here like Pompey, Cassutia, or other people because they are just, you know, so supportive, and they got literally just so little screen time, I guess. But there is some dudes like this, for example, this man, you know, from the House of Proculus. He was a gladiator. He is still alive, and he is the only person left out of those 3. They call them half man or little man, half man, you know. And basically, he is the only who survived. So this is why he is here, because he got enough screen time. He got enough development. I think he is such a good character. Not only the way he fights, but he's showing like emotional growth. He is showing like why his character deserves to be here. So if we try and make this global ranking, like universal rating for all the characters, not only female characters, I would basically put I'm not sure, but I would put maybe first place. I would put, let's start with royalties. So for royalties, I would put Cornelia on the first position, just because I think she was just unstoppable, literally. I think Cornelia, she is my favorite, not only just from high rank, but in general. She is such a good character. So we put her right here. And we give her maximum stars like this. It's like 9 stars or something like this. It's maximum. So second place, I would put Ashur, of course. A lot of you basically maybe would have given him first place, because if you think so, basically you can comment, you can tell me why you think Ashur deserves first place, or maybe you think differently. So I think he is, of course, the main figure of this TV show, and he is, of course, deserving to be on the highest rank. But something basically was like, I don't know, he has such good like storyline. He is like climbing his way from the bottom to, like, you know, to where he's gonna be by the end of the season. He killed Caesar. It's already such big achievement, killing Caesar. Can you imagine that? In this storyline, a former slave killed Caesar, Julius Caesar. So he definitely has such potential to be like more than just that in this storyline, in this timeline, fictional timeline, of course, because we know that basically Caesar, he is maybe the biggest figure out of all these, but we are talking about fiction, right? So that's why I'm giving Caesar third place. If we're talking about royalties, high rank characters, I would give Caesar third place because his character was kind of cheesy for me. His appearance was kind of cheesy. He is like too much for me. I don't really like those types of characters. He's like, you know, maybe he's a good actor, maybe he is talented, but I think he kind of exaggerated the figure of Caesar. Maybe that was on purpose. Maybe Caesar portrayed in other TV shows like this. I have never seen Caesar like in any other TV show, but I think this version of Caesar is cheesy as hell. And he is smiling too much, maybe. Maybe something makes him cheesy for me, but maybe you think differently. But still, I'm giving Caesar third place in this high rank rating, like royalties. In this TV show, he is, for me, third place. And Viridia, of course, she is holding this last fourth place. If we're talking about noble people, like Romans, she is holding this position. This is what I think about Viridia. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it should be 6 stars. So 6 stars going for Viridia, 7 stars for Caesar. I think it's fair. Viridia, she has such beautiful aesthetic character. She is beautiful and aesthetic. She is like the embodiment, I think, of that Roman noble woman. Visually, she is perfect, but Viridia, I think her character only good when she has this dilemma whether she is gonna be with Ashur or if she's gonna be like listening to what her parents telling her, like they are so opposed to the idea of her being like with a former slave like Ashur. So she's like in constant dilemma whether she wants to basically go against their decisions and just be with whoever she wants to be, or if she wants just to be loyal to her father, but he is already dead, so there is nobody to listen to. She's gonna be way more free if there is future seasons. So next thing we are gonna do is we are gonna rate low tier, like low rank people in this TV show, but we are gonna make all of them, because I can do that right here, but I cannot do that. I cannot do that in the poll, in YouTube poll. It only has 4 options for you to make decision. So what I think about this low rank people and how I would rank them. Let me start with what I did before, but this time I would not put Achilea first, just because I think if we choose between all of them, there is such distinct really pool that we can basically find way more interesting characters, I guess. For example, Tarkon, for me, he was kind of also interesting. This dude was also so good. It's his father. So if we try to make all low rank characters and give them rating, I would start like this. First place would go for Hilara. For me, personally, I would give Hilara first place. She is right there. Then I would give Messia second place. Then I would give basically Tarkon, or this dude, his father, third place. He died in the arena. He was such good character, kind, so like lovely. His son, basically, for me personally, right next to him, he was also good. Currently, did you see that? The final like scene between Tarkon and Achillea? That was crazy. They grew from rivals to like lovers, or I don't know. That scene was crazy. They actually just... they exploded. They were hating each other previously, but I think Achillea right now, she realized that Tarkon, he is a son of a man she loved. And since that man basically died, she found this Tarkon like... not as a replacement, but she found similar, maybe, fearlessness. Something that she has in her personality, something she's looking for. And Tarkon broke up with Ilara, this woman, because he thinks basically she makes him soft. So between Achillea and Ilara, Tarkon chose Achillea. And it is weird because throughout the season we basically witnessed how Tarkon and Ilara, this woman, Ilata, they were together throughout the season, but he ended up with a woman he hated so much. This is crazy, but still. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rate them and give them stars. You can see down below we rated 4 royalties. Ashur, he is not a royalty, but he is a former slave, but currently he is holding that position as dominus, right? So he is kind of high rank character. This is why he is together with Caesar, Cornelia, and Viridia in my rank. So I would give basically Ilara this position like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th place, and then I would put those two men. One of them is this dude, who is basically doctoral, like teacher, like who is training gladiators, and another character is this dude who is gladiator, this one. I would rate them like the same place. It's like last position if we're talking about low rank character. So we have this right now. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, something is missing, 1. It was 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 star. All right. Maybe we should have made another rank, like 10-star rank. But who can be 10-star character? Who can be that person who is the best? Or maybe we needed another character in this high rank rating alongside Cornelia, Ashur, Caesar, and Viridia. Who can it be? Who you think left? Whom I forgot? There is that Senator Gabinius, Pompey, but I don't think they deserve to be here just because they are important to the storyline, but the amount of screen time doesn't make me feel like I won't put them here. I would put Gabinius, Senator Gabinius, Viridia's father. That would be fair. But I don't think I can rate him higher than, for example, Hilara or Messia. So as of now, it looks like this. We need to replace basically all the high rank above and all the low rank below. That would make more sense, I guess. Just like this. So, and then I would give them the amount of stars they deserved. Cornelia again. She was my best. Ashur. Caesar. No, right now we need to expand a little bit this. By expanding, I mean we need to add one position to make this rating complete. We need to make one extra position. Caesar is still here. Viridia is still last place out of all royalties I have here. Then Hilara. Hilara is 6 stars character. For me personally, I think it's 6 stars. Yes. So let's put Hilara on the top, maybe right here, even though she is she's not royal, she's not royalty. she is like still a slave, even though like the closest slave to Ashur, she is still a servant. But after this season, she has all the potential to become more than that, I guess. So this is why we put her right next to Viridia. And they have this competition right now over Ashur, Viridia, and Hilara. They have this rivalry. Maybe we are going to see them competing, or it's not gonna be fair contest because Viridia, she holds a noble woman, and she basically stands as basically after her father died, after Senator Gabinius died, she basically can be potentially not as a replacement, but she can continue his work. But still, Messia, she has 4 stars. It's like second place in low rank character. Low rank list. Tarkon. I think basically his father, he's good. He died in the arena. He deserves all the respect. But I think we a little put him way too high. In terms of his character and like screen time. He of course developed so much, but I didn't really build any connection with this character. Like it wasn't enough for me to just build it, to empathize. Only his final scene in the arena, his death, actually made me empathize with that character. Because of course it was brutal and he didn't deserve the death. So I think Achilles should be right here. And she should be higher than Tarkon, definitely. And then maybe I put Tarkon too high. I think Tarkon is too high in this rating. And it can be premature, but I think Ilata, for me personally, she was way more interesting to watch than Tarkon. His emotions, they were just primarily like driven by his, ambitions to become a champion and to prove that basically Achilles, she is not worth to fight in the arena. All his emotions, they were driven by that hate and constant, basically him trying to prove that basically he worth something, that made me kind of put him next to Hilara or next to Ilata. I think Ilata, she was way more I don't know, he was way too much about the champion title and to become a champion, and basically he was constantly letting down Achillea. He was the reason why Achillea didn't participate in the arena, and his father instead replaced her, and his father got killed because of that. So I think Tarkon's such troublemaker. This is why I put him even lower than Ilata, because I think Ilata, she was genuine, she was basically kind. She is too soft for Tarkon. This is what he thinks, but I think she is perfect. I think he doesn't deserve her. It's not like she is too soft. She is making him soft. This is what he thinks. That to become a champion, you need to be tough guy. You need to be like alpha male. You don't need anybody who is holding back you, who is making you soft. And this is why he chose Achillea. She is like the embodiment of that strong female character. Like physically, mentally, everything is there. But I think he made such stupid decision. He should have basically stuck to Ilata, a woman he was previously with. So his father, I think he deserves to be, of course, in this rating, but because of his little screen time and his death, I think I started building such connection with this character. I genuinely just sympathized that character, but after he died, I realized basically that killed for me all that connection I was trying to build with this character. I was trying to understand him. What is like driving that character, why he is with Achillea, who is just, you know. So we put his father, we put this dude, and we put Doctore, this dude. We give 1 star to both Doctore and that dude, what they call half man, a little man. This is what they call him. And we give 2 stars, like this white stars. It's like little but deserved. And maybe this 1 star should be also white color, so it's like still something, but it's like the lowest possible, but still. So this is how my rating looks, guys. You can see on the top left, you can see first place. So let me explain you what I think and why I put, for example, all those people, all those characters the way they are right now. And when we're talking about Spartacus, the House of Ashur TV show, I think there are a lot of characters basically who developed, who grown, who basically prove that they are well written in complex characters, not only on paper but on screen, and we witnessed that. So Cornelia Cinna, a wife of Julius Caesar, she proved that you don't need to be the main character. You don't need a TV show named after your name. You don't need a TV show. You don't need this project to be yours. You need just to be everywhere. You need just to be interesting character. In Cornelia Cinna, she proved that basically this kind of supportive main, half supportive character like her, she can be, for me personally, I think she can be the most interesting character of this TV show. Why I think she is the most interesting character? First, I thought basically that Cornelia, she was just cheesy, the same way that Caesar is. They were just too much, all over the top. They were just constantly abusing this power, showing, basically rattling and basically flexing every possible opportunity. They were trying to basically flex their power as Romans. They were trying to basically show Ashur, everybody else, that basically nobody would ever put himself on the same level as they are. But at some point I realized Cornelia, she was the reason why this TV show survived like middle of the season. Because in the middle of the season, it was where Cornelia, it was basically the middle of the season when Cornelia arrived with Caesar, and something became really different. Something has changed. She has proved that basically, again, you don't need to be the main character. You don't need to have a TV show, a movie named after your name. You don't need to be the main character. But she was the main character for me. She held my attention constantly, consistently. I was watching just because of her. Some episodes I was just watching because of her. At some point I realized basically she has such complex personality, and her basically figure is as important as Julius Caesar. But why I put Caesar lower in this rank than his wife, even though Julius Caesar, he is such big figure in the history. I think even Ashur is higher in my rank, because not because this TV show called The House of Ashur and just because this is his like personal this is like something between the rivalry between Cornelia and Ashur's, you know, between their interactions, in all those dialogues, how she was basically mocking him, poking him, the way that basically Cornelia, every time she tried to basically show Ashur his place in his own ludus, in his own villa, and their rivalry, like, you know, it made like half of the season for me. It was actually perfect. She was constantly showing him that basically he is a former slave and nothing more than that, and he is on this patronage patronage of Kratos. Kratos is like a person who gave Ashur everything, including his position, including his ludus, his villa, everything. He's just on this patronage. After this, without this patronage, Ashur is just nothing. For real. So this rivalry is the best thing for me in this TV show. What do you think, guys? What do you think about Cornelia? And what do you think about Ashur? Did you find this rivalry appealing? Did you find this like entertaining actually? The same rivalry between Ashur and Caesar, but their rivalry was more physical. They were actually fighting in this final episode. You can see they were fighting, and Ashur basically defeated Caesar. Despite what history telling us, Ashur killed Caesar. This is alternative storyline, an alternate story where Ashur, a former slave, killed Caesar, Julius Caesar. Can you imagine that? So, third place in my rating goes to Caesar. You can see that because I think out of all those royalties, out of all those characters, he was the cheesiest one. His smile, every time he is smiling, I'm like, oh my god, this is just Ken, like Barbie doll, you know. He's like not real, he's like so cheesy, and it's like cringe at some point, the way he basically acting. I think it was on purpose. It was just maybe accurate depicting of that character Caesar. I don't know the way he was in real life, like Julius Caesar, but I think in this TV show he was the cheesiest character, literally. But it was funny. Every his dialogue, every his appearance, it was funny as hell, bro. He is like the comedy of this TV show, I guess. And of course his rivalry with Ashur and everything. Oh my god. So next place, Viridia. You can see that a noble woman. She is right there. She is holding fourth place. So why Viridia is right here? Why she is holding fourth place? Not Hilara, not Messia, not Aquilia. Maybe you think otherwise, but I think the other drama, that is Ashur and Viridia, and their basically secret relationship, their secret relationship behind Viridia's parents, and now that basically her father died, it's gonna be even more interesting to watch in future season, if it's gonna be next season. So Viridia, she wasn't really the most interesting, and if we compare her to Hilara and Messia, I think those two, they were way more interesting, and their basically relationship, their dynamic was way more interesting. But if we're talking about her complex relationship with Ashur and their, what it's called, synergy, like oh my god, their chemistry. If we're talking about chemistry between Viridia and Ashur, I think she deserves to be on this fourth place because of that chemistry, because of that secrecy they have. It created some mystery, let's say. She is humble. She is not rushing her decisions. She knows she loves Ashur, but after basically she witnessed how Ashur celebrated Achilles' victory in the arena. After she saw him kissing Hilara, after Viridia witnessed how Ashur basically carelessly giving his attention to one of his slaves in front of Viridia, a woman basically a woman he loves. She got jealous. I think there's gonna be rivalry eventually. But it would have been making no sense if I didn't put Hilara next to Viridia. So this is why I did put Hilara and Viridia side by side. So basically Hilara right now, she is the first priority. In the House of Ashur, she is the first priority after Ashur. She is his second hand, she is his assistant, she is his bed companion, she is his servant, and she is his elevated slave, house slave. But she has all the potential to grow into his full-time partner. I think we can see that in future season. What about your performance in this season? You think, guys, Messiah deserves more from what you voted? I think basically audience, they giving more towards Messiah because unrequired feelings, that she was hurt by Hilara, that she was so left out, that she was basically she was forced to leave eventually Ashur and Hilara and go with Cornelia. I understand that basically a lot of sympathy towards Messiah, but I put Hilara higher than Messiah because I think something really appealing in this Hilara character and her strategic loyalty. I would say this strategic loyalty is something like you cannot understand if you're not watching carefully, like closely. She is not just stupidly in love with Ashur. She is not just loyal. She's not just his dog. She's not like trying to be like that. She is thinking from the perspective of potential, basically, position in his ludus, in his future ludus, in his future reign. I think Ashur is gonna become more than just Lanista. He is currently just Lanista. Lanista it's like an owner of gladiator school, you know. Ashur, he owns this gladiator school, and Hilara, she is an elevated house slave of Ashur. She is first and the main servant in this ludus, in this house, in this villa. But she has all the potential to become more than that. So she is strategically being loyal to Ashur because she knows she needs to keep that man close. She needs to be close. She needs to be fighting her way out of that. By being close to him, she can get higher position, and potentially she can become even his wife, something like this, I think. And next place, I rated Messia number 6 after Hilara. You can see she holds 5 stars. Just as Hilara, she was not so loyal, but she was strategically loyal again. But her unrequited feelings, they kind of betrayed her. I think as much as I love this character, she could have moved on way early from this Messia mess, from this Hilara Ashur mess. She could have moved on from them. And she chosen Cornelius' side. Messia basically left Ashur and Hilara, and she went to Rome with Cornelia. We already know that in final episode she left them. And basically it's like Ashur basically gave her, he like gifted her to Cornelia or something like this. This is what he said or something. But I think Hilara basically, he has such potential together with Cornelia. She has so much potential to come back and to show those Hilara and Ashur that basically they wasted such good material, they wasted such good character, they wasted such good person. They could have actually just appreciated way more her and her personality. She was way more kind, too much maybe kind, and her feelings betrayed her because she expressed openly her feelings for Hilara and she basically rejected her. So this rejection basically made Messia kind of, you know, not herself. She was kind of half there. She was not completely there. I think she is way stronger than we saw, than we witnessed. She is way stronger. And maybe alongside Cornelia, she can show her strong side. She can show her best. I think Messia made such good decision by choosing Cornelia's side. Now Cornelia, she is the character who can teach her, who can teach Messia, who can show her how to basically, you know, hold herself on public, how to be that person. And maybe she will not use her just as her servant. Maybe she is gonna be using her as her lover, because now Caesar is dead. Cornelia has no husband. And since Messia and Cornelia, they already shared a lot of moments, let's say, Cornelia has all the like potential to make Messia like a noble woman, to teach her, to make her like the best version of herself. And now we are moving to Aquilia. So what I think about this character after the season complete, after there is no episodes left, I think basically Aquilia, she was the most fearless out of all women of this TV show, all the female characters, and she was, of course, the champion. By the end of the season, she became a champion. She defeated that woman who killed her lover. This dude. She defeated that woman that was so nice to watch, that was so like enjoyable, actually, her win. But I think her character, her like the core of her character is like her past, her childhood, her trauma, and that basically her father gave her to Romans. She told basically that her father, he literally passed her to Romans. So Achilles, she has this trauma, and this is the only thing that basically drives her. And the range of emotions this character shows, it way too much towards that aggression, towards that rage, towards that hate, because her past basically dictating her everything. So I think she is a complicated character. She is definitely interesting character, but I missed something. In this character, I was missing something more, I would say, simple. Like Messia and Hilara, they have that simplicity. Like Viridia, she has that simplicity. But this character, she is way too complicated for me to empathize with her. I can see her struggle, I can see her pain, I can see how she basically, how much she's hurt from everybody, especially from those like Tarkon at the beginning. This dude, they were basically such big rivals, but now basically they are like lovers or something. So they grew from hating each other to basically love each other or something. I don't know exactly what happened in this final episode, but apparently Achilles, she developed feelings for Tarkon, this dude, because his father, you know that he was a partner of Achilles, he was her lover, but after this dude died, his son Tarkon, he broke up with Ilata, this woman. But I think that was such stupid decision that Tarkon, basically driven by his ambitions to become a champion and his jealousy that Achilles currently got all the spotlight, and that was so premature that he broke up with Ilata. I think she doesn't deserve that. She made everything. She freed herself with that abusive man. She supported Tarkon all the way to his, champion position. He's not even champion, but he is supporting him. She is supporting him. And that he finally choosing Achilles over this woman who has supported him all the way. It's such stupid decision, and it's so premature. I think basically this is why I put him lower than Ilata, even though it doesn't make any sense, but I think Ilata deserves to be right here. She even maybe deserves to be higher than Achilles, but it would only make sense if Ilata, if she was a gladiator or something, because she has such little screen time. I cannot tell you that she is like, you know, fully developed character, or like she is well written, but I can tell you something that I'm pretty sure she is one of the most beautiful characters in this TV show. This is what I think. Maybe this side of me cannot just give up, because when I see character like this, like ultimate beauty, the embodiment of Roman Empire. When we talk about women during Roman Empire, this is the embodiment for me. The beauty of that period, it's all in this character. Her nose, the face, everything. I don't know. So this is why she is right there, and she is, I think, deserving this place. And Tarkon, he is lower than Ilata, but in the TV show, actually, he is holding like better position than she is. But I think his stupid decision to break up with her just because she makes him soft, apparently, and this preventing him from becoming a champion. But I think what actually preventing him from becoming a champion is his amateur personality. He's like way too much like a child, you know. He cannot just hold his emotions when it really needed. He couldn't really hold his emotions, and he basically let a lot of bad stuff happen, especially to his father, because he was the reason why basically his father died. Initially, Tarkon, he injured Achillea, this woman, and his father, he was forced to replace Achillea in the arena because his son injured her. She couldn't compete in the arena, couldn't fight. So he was forced to replace her, and he died in that arena. So if his son never injured Achillea, this dude, he would never go to that fight, and he would never die in that arena during that fight. But he is only 2-star character because I think he has like screen time, he has some storyline, but I think it's just not enough for me. I started literally sympathize this character after like his death, of course, because that was brutal again, but I couldn't really build any connection with this character. Throughout the season, I was trying to understand this character, but I really couldn't. Maybe his connection with Achillea wasn't working for me. I found it like a little boring, maybe. And so we have those two. This man right here, literally, they call him half man or little man, and he is holding last place just because he is way too much He's way too supportive. He is literally he's the most supportive character. But his acting, hands down, his acting is something else. All those three brothers, half-men, they were just something else. They were perfect. I mean, like, they were perfect addition to this TV show, and I think he deserves to be here because he is the only left out of those three. He survived. And this dude Doctore, he is also right there. He is also last place in my rating because I didn't really care too much about his storyline. I found it something like forced. His basically relationship with Opiter, and after Opiter died, this dude Doctore, he was kind of boring. Nothing made me really just care about this character. You know what I mean? Maybe that Opiter relationship with Opiter, that would be the only thing that make me like really care about him. But Opiter died, so there's no like love interest for this character, and nothing really to, you know, nothing to like. But he is still maybe really good, kind character. He is really kind. This is something good about this character, that he was kind with his gladiators. He was really like father for Tarquon, like second father. So this is what my rating is. If you guys think different, like if you have different opinion, if you have your personal favorite character, you can see right now, you can choose in the votes. In the poll, you can vote for only one character, and currently Messia holds 2 points. It's like 100% in the poll. It equals 2 votes because 2 people voted for her. It makes you number 1. And this poll includes all low rank people. Servants, gladiators, other stuff. So if you think still that basically you agree with that, or if you have your personal, if you have your preferences, maybe they are different, you can choose whoever you want out of those 4. And based on that vote, on your vote, based on final rating, I can make my final video with those most voted characters to be the main part of that final video. Maybe we can make something like their personal like journey explained, but not like just explanation, but we are going to dedicate that last video, final video, to the most voted character, like Messia, for example. Right now she is the most voted. It's only 2 votes, but still it's already enough. But if you think differently, you can change still the direction of this. You can choose, maybe you like Achillea, maybe you like Ilata, maybe you like Hilara more. So I need your opinion, and you have your choice, so you can make it different. Just see those 4 and try to imagine whom you basically find the most appealing visually, like aesthetic, beauty, emotionally, whom you basically sympathize the most. Then characters development, who you think developed throughout the season, who basically has grown throughout the season and became like different, who has shown different emotions, acting, we also including acting. For example, Achilles acting, of course, it was the best one, I think. If we talk about your performance in the arena, it wasn't her maybe who did all the tricks, who was actually fighting, but still, I think the range of emotions from Achilles, it was perfectly shown, from aggression, from her fearlessness, from her hate for her past. So what do you think, guys? If we're talking about beauty, aesthetic, if we're talking about emotions, like emotional core of this character, whom you choose if we talk about all those aspects? Characters developments, acting. So every possible aspect you can imagine, think about that. Think about what you appreciate in those characters, and based on that, make your decision. So we can move this. We can basically see only 2 people voted for one character, Messia, but I need you to tell me why you think Messia deserves that. If you think that Messia as well deserves first position, that she is the best character, that she is the most interesting low rank character, not Hilara, also a servant, not Achilles, a gladiator, not Ilata. If you think basically that Messia indeed deserves to be on the first position in this rank, what do you think makes her to be there? Why would you make her the best in this rank? What actually makes you love her in her character? Unrequired feelings is how I describe this character, but how would you describe for yourself this character? Maybe you find yourself like, maybe you can relate to Messia, maybe you have like similar experience, I don't know, maybe you think that Messia, she is like the embodiment of that emotional trap, your basically feelings for Hilara and rejection from Hilara. Maybe this is what makes making like her so simple, so human for you. Maybe you need like so little to like this character. I think I need just literally so like little to like a character in any TV show. For me personally, it's just simplicity. I love simple characters. Messia, Hilara, they were simple. For me, they were the simplest characters. But as much as I love simplicity, I also love Cornelia. You can see she is number one in my global rank. In my global rank, you can see she is number one. Because as much as I appreciate simplicity, she is Cornelia. She is everything. She can be both. She is a complex and at the same time she is simple. She can be all over the top. She can be everywhere. She can be cheesy sometimes, just as her husband Caesar in this TV show, but she has the aesthetic, her looks, her appearances in this TV show, costumes, they were just the best, I think. I think she had the best costumes, the best dresses, the best looks in this TV show. She was just stunning, you know. There is nothing in this character for me to not to like, you know. Literally nothing. Maybe some dialogues, maybe some lines that basically made her sound a little bit, I don't know. Maybe all the dialogues, they were like written before, and maybe some of those they like sounded not like real, like a little bit rehearsed. I don't know, but in general, like, she is perfect and she is fitting perfectly in all that chaos, in all that mess. She's like bringing that mess, and she is surviving. She is like living off that mess. She is mess basically, but she is perfect mess. And her husband Caesar, he's like, he's also a mess. He's messy, but he is way too cheesy for me. And this version of Caesar for me is like, I don't know any other version of Caesar in any other TV show, but this version, the only version I have seen, he's way too cheesy again. His smile can be sometimes fake, I think, on purpose or not. And as much as this actor looking beautiful, but I think he a little bit forced that type of Caesar. He made him look cheesy. He made him a little bit fake, you know. Maybe that was on purpose, I don't know, but still. I think Cornelia, she was way more like real, you know, and not that cheesy. And maybe the actress, and she was told maybe to play this way, I don't know, but her acting, I think, also perfect. And between them, Ashur, of course, the main figure of this project. But why he is between them? Because he was literally between them this whole season. Ashur was between those two, Cornelia and Caesar, because he was the problem for them throughout all this season. Ashur, he was the reason why basically Cornelia and Caesar, they were going back and forth to Capua, because they were solving these problems with Ashur's villa, with his gladiators, with his ambitions, with his missions for Crassus, Ashur's patron. And Caesar, as we know, basically he is the closest ally of Crassus, right? So Caesar, basically, he was kind of speaking mouth for Crassus. He was on his mission as well, but Cornelia, she was just herself. I think she wasn't really trying to be just useful for Crassus. Cornelia was on her own. She had her own mission, and because Cornelia, she really stands out, she doesn't really care about those Crassus, Gabinius, Pompey, or whoever. She acts like she is the main figure right there, right now. She acts like she has all the power, not her husband Caesar, not any other person. But Caesar, her husband, he was way too much relying on those Crassus, Senator Gabinius. He was literally just constantly mentioning them and referring all his actions, all his motivation as just to make those connections between Crassus and Senator Gabinius. That was his main mission, as far as I understand. Caesar was on that mission to make this alliance between Crassus and Senator Gabinius, to make this go further, to stop alliance between Pompey and Senator Gabinius as well. So Caesar, basically, he was on this mission, and I think that was just literally all that drives Caesar in this timeline. We only witnessed this Caesar. He was ambitious. He was pretty much interesting character, but I think cheesy character, and at some point basically he has become some type of comedy for me. Every his interaction is either a joke or something, he's not serious. Literally he's making comments about Ashur way too much, mocking him, poking him, and at some point it becomes just so excessive how often he basically makes those comments about Ashur. Literally every interaction, it's about Caesar making fool of Ashur. So in Viridia, I think this is the most questionable why I put Viridia number 4. I think a lot of would disagree putting Viridia over Hilara and Messia. What do you think, guys? What do you think, guys? Would you put Viridia this high? Let me know if you think I put Viridia way too high in this rank. She is literally number 4. Right after Caesar and before Hilara and Messia and Aquileia. But what do you think? Because I think this is so like unpopular opinion, my opinion. But I think that Viridia, her humble personality, maybe something contributed to this choice. This is why I put her number 4. Definitely Viridia, she is not the most interesting character. And her energy, her low energy, throwing off all the vibe for some scenes. She's like so neutral to a lot of things. She has no opinion. Sometimes she can be just walking mouth, talking like shallow things. No complexity, no like literally no nothing to talk about when we see Viridia, but at the same time this is the only character who acts like this in this TV show. All other characters, they have way too much personal dramas or something like this, and this is the only character, Viridia, this is the only character who actually has only 2 things on her mind. It's Ashur, and maybe only one thing is Ashur. This is everything about this character, literally. She is in love with Ashur, and she lost her husband. I think basically this simplicity in her humble personality, every time I see this Viridia character, I just realize basically that she doesn't even need more. Maybe this is the character we need, because she is not like anybody else in this TV show, and she is beautiful, and she is a noble woman, and she is the embodiment of that noble woman. Visually, if I rate Viridia based on just the way she looks, if I rate appearances, if I rate beauty of all of them, I would definitely put this woman number 1, Ilata, and I would put Hilara next to her, and I would put Viridia after Hilara, and I would put Messia after, or maybe before Viridia, I don't know, but still, Viridia, she is such a beautiful woman. I mean, the actress herself. I don't even know if Viridia is fictional character or if she actually existed in real life, but still, she is one of those basically. So let's try, like, imagine if we only have a choice to make, basing it on visual aspect of every character, on their appearance, on their beauty, on their like aesthetic, what it would be for me personally, it would be like this, guys. I would put Ilata, this woman, number 1, with no doubt. I would put her every time number one, because this is like how it works for me. I don't know. So I would put her number one. This is like undoubtedly. I would put her number one, and I would put Messia, I would put Hilara number two. This woman. So if we make the same rating based just on appearances, it's gonna be changing completely. It's gonna be Ashur going all the way down here, of course, because now we just, you know, we now just thinking about the way they look, right? So everybody has preferences and base something on the way it looks. It's always gonna be objectified, right? Biased a little bit, because what's beautiful for me may be not beautiful for you. Maybe you see beauty differently. Maybe you see something else when you think about beauty. But I think Cornelia, she can be still first, number one, and then this woman goes after her. Ilata, Caesar, basically, he is literally handsome, but he cannot compete with this woman. So he is just going right here, and then goes Hilara. Number 3. This poll right now, this rank, this rating based on the way they look, on aesthetics, on appearances. I think basically this is what I find appealing in those characters. So for me, Cornelia number 1, Ilata number 2, Hilara number 3, and then goes maybe Viridia, or I'm confused. I think Messia, she is like so beautiful, of course, but I don't know. When I see like Viridia, for me, it's like the embodiment of a Roman noblewoman, you know? But when I see Messia, for me, it's like just embodiment of beautiful woman in general. Messia, I think she's more modern for me. But Viridia, she is more that type of woman, like for that period, I think she is more accurate. So this is why I would put Messia after Viridia. Of course, a lot of would disagree, and I already see that because Messia is the only person who has votes in the poll, in the chat. You can see that number. She has 2 votes and nobody else has anything. But still, so we rated woman, and the only woman who left Aquilia, maybe. So guys, nothing really personal, no hate, but I think Aquilia should be rated differently because she has completely different type of beauty. First of all, she is a fighter, she is a gladiator, she is masculine, she is so strong in a good way. She is beautiful, of course, but I think she should be rated separately from those, because she has not only her charm as a woman, she has that literally physique, she has that power, she has that, I don't know how to explain you that, but I feel she should be rated separately alongside maybe those like Tarchon, Caesar maybe, because they speak not only a language, they speak this body language, because they are fighters, so they are different completely. So if we try to rank all those fighters, gladiators, Caesar, Ashur's gladiators, Tarchon's father, this half man, what they call him, little man, and this dude, Doctora or Chorus. I think Caesar, it may sound weird, but I think Caesar, for me personally, if we talk about male characters and their appearances, beauty, let's say, if we rate their appearances, I think Caesar is number one, just because I think even though he is cheesy and his smile can be fake sometimes in this version of Caesar, though I think that Caesar basically deserves to be number one, because he is just, holding himself, and the way basically he introduces himself, the way he appears on public, and I don't know exactly if this version of Caesar, it's like common, if he was literally like this in real life, but in this TV show, I think he's one of the most beautiful character, not only just out of all the male characters, but maybe even some female characters. I don't know. We're all human, right? Let's talk about, we are rating just not based on genders, but based on their roles. So let's say we are right now rating gladiators, fighters, conquerors. Caesar, he was a conqueror, right, in the history. So if we rate all those fighters, former gladiators, former slaves, gladiators, current gladiators, and if we try to imagine not only the beauty, like in common sense of this word, like someone's appearance, the way someone looks, but if we try to imagine that beauty when they fight, when they represent themselves in that arena, in those fights, physically, how they hold themselves, how they basically use their bodies to basically defeat opponents. I think Caesar, he's like, for me, he's number one, because he's like the embodiment of that in this TV show. When I see his figure, it's like, for me, it's the embodiment of the Roman Empire. maybe it is the embodiment of Roman Empire in general in history of that period. Maybe he was and he is the embodiment of that. So next, right after Caesar, I would give either Aquileia or Ashur second place. But why would I give, I think, Aquileia over Ashur? Even though it would make no sense to put the main protagonist after, you know, secondary role like Aquileia. I still think her appearances in the arena, they made like 30% of success. If we're talking about action, if we're talking about emotions and something that basically related to fights, related to actual gladiators, the only person I would really just watch again is Aquileia. I don't really care about any other gladiators, any other fights, but every Aquileia's fight, every her fight, it was every time, it was not only just brutal, and for her it was difficult, of course, but she looked still feminine. She wasn't too masculine, she wasn't too, I would say, manly. She was still feminine, and her beauty is not just about being gladiatrix, being strong female character. Her beauty way beyond that. She is, I don't know, she's one of the most, I think, beautiful and strong characters, not only out of female characters but male characters. This is why she is right there in this rating, and she's standing right next to Caesar, because Caesar, he has just way too much charisma, he has way too much, and I cannot just put him lower. And Aquileia, she has just everything, and she's way too much driven by her trauma, her past trauma, and her emotions, they primarily like aggression, you know, but it's still good. But Caesar, he's just number one. So next goes Ashur with his performance in this TV show. I guess really strong performance for me. It wasn't my favorite character, definitely. I didn't care a lot about his final, and if we see him defeated, if we see him losing everything, I wouldn't really disappointed. To be honest, I wouldn't be disappointed if Ashur lost final fight to Caesar, and if Caesar basically defeated Ashur, maybe not killed him, but if Caesar basically ended up a winner of that fight, I would be even more happy, because I kind of start missing Caesar after his death. But Ashur, I think, since this is his project, this is the project about the House of Ashur, of course he is going to survive every fight, and he is going to stay alive as long as possible. And since this is a TV show called The House of Ashur, a lot of storyline. He has such big screen time, the most big screen time, the longest screen time. So he has developed, of course. He has improved throughout the season. He has shown growth. He shown his complex personality that is not only driven by his seek for power. He is, of course, seeking simple things like love with this noble woman. She is so like unattainable for him because he is a former slave and she is a noble woman. So this drama itself just creates a lot of for this character, and I can easily just empathize with that he is struggling with his feelings. He cannot openly express his feelings. He is showing that. He is perfectly showing that in this season. So he has that depth. He has that emotional depth. And this is why he is right here, of course. And Tarkon, he is number 4. Or if we're talking about all the things, like all the characters, he's like number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And right now we are talking about appearances, right? So if we're talking about appearances, if we're talking about aesthetic, if we're talking about beauty, Roman beauty, you know? So imagine, like, what do you see when you think about Romans, when you think about Roman beauty, when you think about that period? Who you think fits better into that period? Who has everything visually? For me, basically, I would put Tarkon over Ashur just because of, I think he visually fits more and his aesthetic. For my eyes, it's just Tarkon. This is how I see that. And basically, I would maybe put this dude after Ashur. I don't know a lot about this character, but still. And those two, they are still at the same position. Nothing has changed. So this rating right now, you can see, guys, Cornelia, she is still number 1. But I think if we trying to rank all those characters and based on their appearances in this TV show, Cornelia has competition, of course, and characters like Ilata, Hilara, Viridia, Messia, they can easily compete because they are all beautiful, but I think Cornelia's charisma and her personality makes that beauty just on completely other level. She is holding first position for me, and Ilata, she is right next to her, and then Hilara side by side with Viridia, and Messia is closing this. But if we move further to male characters and some female characters that not just common figures. They are more complex. They have that beauty that can be rated differently because they have more complex beauty, such as Achille. She has that complex beauty. She has both feminine and masculine beauty. She has more in her appearance than just typical beauty that you think when you try to imagine, for example, Roman beauty and woman during that period typically looks like this, maybe like this. But when you see this woman, it's not immediately, it's not immediately like associating with that. But still, she has everything from physical form, her strong physical form, which is beauty again. She has both strong body and she has beautiful appearance in general in this TV show. She is still feminine, and being a gladiator, a gladiatrix, a fighter, a female fighter doesn't make her too masculine, too much, too manly. So this is why she holds second place right after Caesar, or seventh place in overall rank. If we're talking about all the characters, she is holding 7th place. But if you're only talking about masculine type of characters, male, manly characters, she is 2nd place. But she can be as well rated separately just as a female character. And this way she could be also 2nd or 3rd place, or right there, I don't know. Maybe I put Messia way too low, but I don't know. Still, this is what I think when I try to imagine this Roman woman. It doesn't matter if it's slave, if it's a noble woman. When I imagine a Roman Empire, this is what my rating looks like. This is what I see when I try to imagine that. I see all these characters rated in this exact order. So if you think, guys, you understand better all that period, Roman Empire, maybe you think differently, you have your option to choose your favorite character. But this poll, I think we have already 2 votes for Messia, so it's kind of enough. And I think it can be the final verdict that Messia, for my audience at least, for those people who voted for Messia, she is the best in every aspect. It includes visual, emotional core of this character. So my audience decided that Messia deserves 1st place in this ranking. In this rating, Messia deserves 1st place. And my viewers basically voted for Messiah because they think she is the embodiment of the Roman, not Roman, but she is the embodiment of that woman. When we think about Roman Empire and that period, she has everything in her personality, from her beauty, from her emotions, from her, I don't know. So she has first place just because she deserved it, I guess. And this was that was the final decision of this poll. And I think at this point we can complete this poll, we can complete this stream, because there is nothing to tell you anymore. So thank you guys for watching this, and I see you later, and maybe next time we will bring something even more interesting than this. But the House of Ashur, it has already ended. There is no episode left, and I'm not sure if I'm going to bring any other TV show like this similar, because I cannot find TV show as good as this one. And it actually such a unique project, because all other projects, they are so different. So to find something like Spartacus, the House of Ashur, there is only a few TV shows that basically telling about the Roman Empire, about that period, but they are not as interesting for me personally. I only care, literally right now, I only care about this project and this series. It was such a good story for me. It was journey. I was basically enjoying this season so much, and I'm so upset that it's finally ended. And there is nothing else literally that I want to watch currently. I found myself that I cannot enjoy any other TV show if it's not Spartacus, the House of Ashur, because I don't care really anymore about modern relationship stuff in TV shows. All that school dramas, they are like so silly for me. Maybe I have grown up enough to stop watching those types of TV shows, but I still watch Tell Me Lies Season 3. Maybe we can make something about that TV show, because Tell Me Lies Season 3 is currently airing, and it has some interesting storylines, but still, I think after this Spartacus, the House of Ashur, I feel like it's not just season ended. I think like some part of me, some huge part of my personality, I have gained something. I have literally gained, I have taken something from this TV show, and I want that something that I basically got from this TV show. I learned from this TV show a lot, and I need that something that I have right now to go further, to improve that. I like really the language they use. I like history. I like the figures, all those big figures. I like to understand, I like to distinguish historical figures. I like to see different versions of history, alternate history, different timelines. But I needed to keep going. So after this TV show, I feel like I need something. I need next season immediately. But of course, there is no next season, at least next year. Maybe it's gonna be in production. Maybe it's gonna be, in 2027 or something like this. So if you know any similar TV show, if you know there is something gonna be dropped and it is as good as this TV show, and I explained you why I think this TV show is so good. I don't think Pendragon, The Rise of Merlin, is as close to what I call perfect TV show for me personally. I prefer this TV show over Pendragon, The Rise of Merlin, also currently airing. So if you know any other project, if you know, guys, if we have something and I missed it, if we already have something and I missed it, if it's currently airing, maybe you know something that is like has different, maybe something like similar to this Spartacus, the House of Ashur. Not necessarily about Romans, not necessarily about Roman Empire, but maybe it's something like as well based on, real life figures like Caesar, maybe something historical, maybe something fictional, but the most important thing that should be as captivating as this TV show. This was literally the most captivating TV show, the most entertaining TV show I have ever seen. So thank you for watching. See you next time.